Of Ranch Foods Direct, a local entrepreneur just like us, and a leader in our community in sustainability, in healthy living, healthy food. And I think it's a great topic to talk about right now because I'm thinking about eating in the next 2 weeks. So how should we eat? What should we think about eating? What are the important things that we should be looking for as we're shopping this holiday season? And how could we possibly be doing it in our own downtown with a local market? So thanks, Mike, for coming out and speaking tonight.
My pleasure to be here. So I don't know if any of you know about Ben Franklin and what he thought about beer, but he said beer was proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy.
Hear, hear.
He's just one of my favorite guys. Ben Franklin also said there's 3 ways to accumulate wealth. You can conquer it the way the Romans did, which is robbery. You can steal it the way corporations do, which is stealing. He was talking about the East India Company, right? And their relationship with the Crown, which is the same as today with Wall Street and Washington. And the other thing he said, you can create wealth by putting a seed in the ground. And he essentially said, in a continual miracle, wealth is created. Put a seed in the ground, add water and sunshine, and as if in a continual miracle, wealth is created. That's what I do. A cow eats grass, and she has a calf. And the calf grows up, and it's eating this grass, or it's eating the feed that was grown over here, and the manure goes back over onto the ground that the feed was grown on. And we create wealth in agriculture. And so Ben Franklin talked about the importance of agriculture in creating wealth, and that fueling the economy and providing that constant flow of wealth into the economy. And so I didn't really know that until my 10th year class reunion after I'd already gotten into agriculture. And somebody said, Mike, farmers are wealth creators. Everyone else just does the laundry. And this was from one of my classmates' parents who was in the farm machinery manufacturing business. And so I got a new appreciation for that. And that might have been the day I started to recover from industrial agriculture, because that's what I was trained in at Colorado State University. I got out of there with an animal science degree. Well, animal science is not even related to animal husbandry, which is what it used to be a long time ago, when it was about stewardship, husbandry, and proper care of animals, the environment, the soil. That's not what I got taught at Colorado State University. We were taught extraction economics, how to maximize profit, increase throughput, the best possible return on equity. You know, this crap that we're dealing with today in this economy that's just destroying communities, one after the other. And I talk about Colorado Springs. If you read Fast Food Nation, 10 years ago, Eric Schlosser described this city as fast food city. We seem to love Wall Street-based companies. We build them infrastructure. We give them incentives to come here and extract the wealth. We build intersections. We give Taco Bell an arrow on Stone and Fillmore. You got to know the secret way to get into Colorado coffee merchants. You got to go down the back alley and hope the Planet Grant guy's not in the way. But Taco Bell gets an arrow. They get their own intersection and a stoplight. We put that horrible thing on North Nevada. That is a point of extraction. It's like Francisco Chavez said one day to me 3 or 4 years ago. He came in. He's our driver. Just retired last Friday. Sad day. But he just came in after delivering for the day, meat to our restaurants, and he says, you know, Mike, that Cisco truck, it brings stuff from somewhere else and takes the money away every day. And so when I go up there and I ask if they have Bristol beer, and they say no, I want to know why. Why are we here if we can't support this community? And so it's about sustainability, really. And I hear a lot of talk about sustainability. But you know what? I hear a lot of talk about Walmart giving the speech at the Grocery Manufacturers Association at the Broadmoor on sustainability. while they're standing on the neck of their suppliers, employing the child laborers in China at 14 cents an hour, working them 16 hours a day. Oh, but wait a minute, we changed the lights. You know, we've got solar panels on the top of our buildings. I learned a lot of this from Greg about energy, and yeah, they're doing some stuff, but it's only because they're worried about their bottom line. But have they decided to stop being a tapeworm wrapped around the communities that they're building supercenters in? Heck no, they're in the extraction business. And because they're a shareholder company, do they really have a choice? So I want to go back to local. And I want to read something to you that speaking of Colorado Springs, if you read Fast Food Nation and you look at Eric Schlosser's description of this community, it is not good. But you know what? It's gotten better. Doug Bruce isn't around much more. It's gotten better. We've survived. Ranch Foods Direct has survived the last 10 years in this place with Cisco and U.S. Foods and Walmart and Kroger and Safeway trying to put us out of business. It's gotten better. I mean, Roger, and your project up north, it's getting better. We have got more urban gardens. Thanks to Larry Stebbins and the Pikes Peak Urban Garden Group, we are starting to figure this out. And Andy Finn has chickens in his backyard on Wasatch and Weber. I mean, this is a cool deal. And so I think about building community. You know, the contrast to that would be Wall Street. Wall Street is the farthest thing you can possibly get from community. And so I come from St. Francis, Kansas, where I've been 37 years, and we've got half the kids in our school system that we had 30 years ago. It's a dying community because we are a point of extraction for big agribusiness. So how can my community of St. Francis, Kansas partner with a Colorado Springs? We grow the food. We're 200 miles away on the Colorado-Kansas border. We grow the food. You all want to eat it. And so that's why Ranch Foods Direct came to Colorado Springs. I got, of course, blackballed by the big packers because I wasn't speaking kindly of them. And I had sued IBP, which they didn't like. And so they wouldn't buy my cattle anymore, and I shut down the operation. And after a year, I thought, this is just flat wrong. I'm going to start a meat company. And so here we are tonight. We've got 8 school districts, 100 restaurants, a retail store at the plant, and we've got a retail presence in Denver. We've got restaurants in Denver, and we've got restaurants in Pueblo. So we don't want to get any bigger than that region. We want to serve the community. And so we're thinking about this public market idea as being the ultimate end of production agriculture. So the farmer, whether it's the Arkansas Valley Organic Grower Group, or whether it's somebody that raises goats at Calhan, or Chuck Murphy that has goats for weed control in his construction yard. He's our goat supplier. The goats actually come from Laramie, Wyoming from their ranch, and then they finish up in the construction yard eating weeds. And if you want to gather those goats, this is how you do it. You go cut a branch off a tree with green leaves, and you drag the branch into the pen, and all the goats just follow you right eating the leaves as they come. And then we castrate them with the Callicrate bander, and that's really what provides me the money to do a ranch food. It's a stress-free, bloodless, and drug-free method of castration. But then someday, when they're big enough, we haul them to St. Francis and slaughter them and bring back the carcasses, and you all get to eat the goat meat. And so, I'm in Colorado Springs a year ago, last fall. I'm talking to Chris Jenkins about the Chris and Fowler area, and what about a public market? Wouldn't that be cool? And Chris is saying, yeah, that'd be cool. We need to move Ranch Foods Direct and processing everything downtown. And we're going to have this new energy, kind of this catalyst in this zombie building area. And it's going to just be awesome what happens, right? And so I'm in St. Francis, Kansas, and it's a Sunday afternoon, and I'm out for a walk. And I go down by the lake. There's a little lake there in St. Francis, and there's 2 young men fishing. And their last name is Anderson, Ben and Max, Dave's sons. And they're there. Ben has been working during the summer, building fence and doing hard stuff. And Max is there visiting Ben for the weekend. And I walk by and they're fishing. And I'm saying, hey, guys, how's it going? Not very good. We caught this little fish. It was about that big. And we're using it for live bait. Wait a minute. Chrissy Fowler, catalyst, go downtown and be the catalyst to make something cool happen. Live bait. You get this? What happens to live bait? They either drown or they get eaten. And so I'm thinking, this is not a good thing. Where I am at, it's paid for. I lease the building, but what I've got in it is paid for. Why do I want to go down and do this? This needs to be a community project. This needs to be something all of us are involved in, and I just want to be a piece of it. So I'm standing down there in the Chrissy Fowler area, and I'm with Jan Weber, who does films about agriculture. And she did the As We Sow film out of Iowa, and she's doing another film right now. And she just kind of does a 360, and she says, you know, Mike, for a city, she lives in Brooklyn, for a city to be a city, people should live in it. Yeah, exactly. And wouldn't that be cool to have a bunch of residential development down there? But what would they eat? It's a food desert. And so here, let's build this public market. And so here, this is really cool. This is something we found this week thanks to Vicki, one of our co-chairs. She said, this lady in Cedar Rapids, a new person to the community, said, so I started driving up and down the river looking for signs of life, and there was nothing going on. She's standing in Chrissy Fowler, probably. I went back to my hotel, and I thought, okay, I'll try again tomorrow. So I walked down Tejon Street at 11 o'clock at night, and it was kind of scary. No, that's just a side note. So I went back to my hotel and thought, okay, I'll try again tomorrow. I spent the next couple of weeks trying to find the center of town and find where life happened. Eventually I realized that Cedar Rapids is a wonderful community, but that it was missing a central congregating spot. The place someone like me could go to meet people and find camaraderie. It does not exist in this city. It doesn't exist. And I got to tell you, if we could do this public market thing, and this is it, this is the old retail Chrissy Fowler building, this is the rooftop eating area with a garden, you're looking out at Pikes Peak, it's Friday, you're having a glass of wine and some cheese, this is where the farmers bring their stuff to be able to sell to restaurants, to school districts, so the farmer can stay on the land and he can get his stuff in here and get it sold for a decent price that he can live with. So this is what we were talking about. It doesn't have to be a Chrissy Fowler. We've got a location committee that's working on ideas, and there's some cool ones. And we just want to open it up to everybody to be a part of this and to really engage in creating this space. And so what I see in this public market is something like Milwaukee, and I've been there 3 times, and it's really awesome. And they built it in the 3rd Ward, the most depressed area ever. And they built this beautiful public market with lots of glass, lots of sunlight coming in, south facing, and 10 Greyhound buses lined up 2 blocks down, unloading people with canvas bags under their arms, coming in on a Saturday to shop and buy stuff. So they got the coffee roaster, they got beer, they've got wine, they've got meat market, they got a fish market, they got a vegetable, they got deli, they got bakery. This thing is cool, and lots of people. And I'm there at 10 o'clock and they're unloading the buses, and I just catch a tour group. And I'm asking the guy that runs the place, the manager guy, and I'm saying, hey, I'd love to know more about the market. He says, well, just follow those people right there and you'll learn, because they were a tour group. And so I got the whole thing. Commissary kitchen, demonstration kitchen, chefs giving cooking lessons. I mean, lots of space for public events. So anybody that needed a space for a public event like this, except way bigger and beautiful, I mean, nice open space, mezzanine all the way around. It's just really something else. And so it renewed the 3rd Ward. 1,500 residential, multifamily residences came immediately. So what does this do for downtown? Why wouldn't we go to the most depressed place in the city to fix it? because you win twice. You fix the blight and you bring energy. You bring what I would suggest is a new heart and soul to the city of Colorado Springs that absolutely fixes what Eric Schlosser said was wrong, the fast food city kind of mentality and reputation that we have. And I'm saying it's got to be local. It's got to be real. It's got to be good for you. There cannot be a Wall Street address. It's got to be about building community and keeping the economy thriving here. Creating those jobs. Urban gardens everywhere. If there is an old, abandoned, dilapidated building, Schooners on Nevada. How many years has that been abandoned? You know the restaurant I'm talking about on Nevada? North of used to be Sench's, it's an Arby's now. Why are we allowing that? Scrape it. Scrape that stupid thing. Nobody's going to do anything with it. Whoever owns it, it gets to scrape it. Or we get to take it over as a city, perhaps. Pay the man what it's worth and put gardens in. Raise beds, whatever. And I'll bring the manure. And we'll grow food. But food is an important thing to bring people together. I just am so excited about this possibility, but I've never been more excited than when guys like Scott step up and say, hey, I want to help. And we've got everybody coming together around this project. The mayor hasn't gotten interested yet. But I did have lunch today with Jerry Forte with the utilities company. He invited me to lunch. So I'm kind of wondering what for. and here's the reason. We bring in 75 tons of manure every fall. These are 3 big semi-loads, right? Manure, and dump it down there on Pinello, Benatucci Farm, and give it away for free will donations. Well, there's no, and Jerry's saying to me, thank you, that's why he gave me a nice acknowledgement today. He says, thank you so much for doing that, but why? Why do you do it? And I said, because we got really, really bad dirt in El Paso County, really bad dirt. And we need to amend it with manure. And if you want to see something really cool, look at Jacek Popiel's backyard in Colorado City. It's just the most productive thing you've ever seen. It's got more food than the whole West Side can eat, nearly. And it's with manure. And so I love Vandana Shiva. She's an Indian physicist and environmental activist. And she's just a gift to humanity. And she was talking with Hillary Clinton, was over to visit when Bill and Hillary were in the White House. And so Hillary and her person was there, and Vandana Shiva and her person were talking. And Vandana's friend said to Hillary, do you have cows? Hillary says, no, we can't have cows in the White House. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Well, the cow, it produces the bullock, right, that pulls the plow. And the cow produces the milk and the cheese and all this stuff. And Vandana then says to Hillary, you know, Hillary, our cow dung is worth more than your stocks on Wall Street. No truer words have ever been spoken. Because you can't grow good vegetables without manure. And so when I look at agriculture, and I look at Colorado Springs, and I look at land and stewardship and husbandry and all of that, I know how important it is to connect animal agriculture with crop agriculture because of the manure. Even vegans and vegetarians agree with me. You can't have good vegetables without manure. And I even got the Humane Society vegans to agree that was true. So anyway, my contribution to this whole project is just a bunch of manure. So thank you.
All right, well, I guess now we can have sort of either sort of a Q&A if you guys have any questions for Mike, or else if you just have anything else that you also want to contribute about this discussion.
Might just mention that go to Aaron Taylor, thank you, wherever Aaron is at. But Aaron put this website together. Aaron and I worked together, as well as Rich, at Branch Foods Direct. And Dave Anderson is a non-paid salesperson, along with other really good customers. But go to cspublicmarket.com. It's got a blog, it's got an email thing you can subscribe to. Man, we welcome everybody to come in and be a part of this project. Like I said, it's about community. And I see a market with no debt, owned by the people forever. So no developer charging rents. We put it together like a nonprofit. But Scott, what committee are you working on?
The vendor partnership team.
Yeah, Dave, you're on.
Business model and governance.
Okay, yeah.
And we need as many participants as we can to the task force.
And Greg and I are on the location committee, aren't we, Greg?
Sure.
I know that in the third ward in Milwaukee too, you have a lot of professionals. You have photographers, you have ad agencies, you have computer companies, you have all these other companies that are in that area supporting the businesses that are providing food and products as well. So and the housing. I mean, it's a really vibrant redo of an area that was dying.
A lot of young people.
A lot of young people.
Yeah. Like I was telling David, we screwed it up, my generation, and we're really sorry. I'm really sorry, and I got to tell you, we got to fix this thing. This thing is so seriously broken. Yes.
Mike, I also own a condo in Fourth Ward, but it's Charlotte, North Carolina. Talking about banking capital, you know. And again, they took a very rundown inner city where at 5:15 everybody was gone. It was just, you know, again, not only a desert, but it was completely abandoned. And yet they began moving the remaining historic homes into one ward, just a quarter called Fourth Ward. And then they built other homes in other areas, and again, very vibrant. There are markets, there's about 4 markets every day on the street in various of the centers and squares around town. Many of the large corporations have donated, you know, a partial or maybe a quarter block and built a patio area where they host all sorts of events, and they'll allow that open for farmers market several times a week, if not every day. So again, a very walkable city, a lot of young people coming from all over the country to those areas, and amazing the number of residents that just grow and grow and grow. I think this is one of those places where, again, yes, we have winter here, but the majority of the year, so much outside that can be utilized. And one thing I would like to know is, can we make sure that the design of this is, you know, basically, I want it to be as self-supporting as possible. I'm not saying off the grid, but you know, a lot of solar, a lot of very efficient things, and where you can even open those big windows up in the summer and not have to run air conditioning
Like
all the time.
garage doors that come up, the glass garage door type things.
Right.
Absolutely, all that is thought about.
Yeah.
So think about the committee you want to be on. But you know, I think that this thing has such potential to totally revive the city. You know, we know that there are developers that own a lot of land in that area. They own a lot of land in the city, and the price is just cratered. You know, dirt's $3.5 to $4 a square foot. I mean, it's just cratered. And we need them to really come together, maybe for the wrong reasons. But
well, maybe it's the time to buy while the price is greater, then just put it into public trust in some way that it can be utilized very differently.
Yeah, because if something like this goes in, from what I have seen, it will change the world for anyone who owns real estate in this area, and the opportunity to build will change. Yes.
So I'm a bicycle and a community guy, and when I see a project like this, I travel to Portland and other areas where they have more of a dense urban core and they have this going on. They have bicycle delivery services. So when I see this, I see a cargo bike that's electrically assisted pulling a nice little insulated trailer. And you could do, within like a 5-mile radius, you could do bicycle deliveries of products. So people could even go on the internet and log in and select what they want, and could be delivered by bicycle.
Right.
With zero energy. And then the batteries can be recharged by solar.
And see some density increase in population rather than sprawl. Yeah.
the funny thing, I was here for a year in 2010. I went to the downtown partnership. Said, let me help you a little bit. I lived in many different countries. I see all these empty parking lots on Sunday. When you open them up to musicians coming in, to flea markets coming in, doing some live in the downtown, they stared at me going, I said, I've lived in Japan, I've lived in different countries. They're doing it there, they're doing it in Europe. You have life. You don't have any life. And they looked at me. They stared at me. And the climate is not good enough. I'm seeing here from April till about November. Daytime, Sunday afternoon is beautiful. And I'm seeing over here in this town, you have the west, you have the mountains. I don't see a lot of outdoor cafes, I don't see any outdoor activities. I'm seeing starvation for action. If you look at these territory days once a year, are the worst thing. But everybody comes because there's something happening. You see the Pike Big Arts Festival. No, once a year. You see the Pike Big Arts Festival. That's a nice one, beginning of July. People come to this. And I think people are starved in this community. People are starved in the Front Range for really life. And I think if you if you create something, people will come. I don't know how you guys see that, but I'm seeing people going all the time, I'm bored in this community. And I think there is lots of opportunity to actually create something.
Mike, what are the communities? I mean, the committees that you've talked about that are forming, and how do you get involved?
They can't out here. What's that, Darlene?
Oh, well, we had, 2 weeks ago, we had a planning session. And there were probably 30 people in the room. And they formed these various committees. I'm on grant and fundraising committee. There's location committee, vendor committee,
Business model and governance.
Business model and governance, and then partnership committee.
And location.
Yes, location. So we have 5 or 6 committees, and if we could just get your email address, we can get you in contact, or we'll have Vicki, who's spearheading quite a bit of the fundraising grant aspects, and Ken Brickman, who is notifying folks, will email you and let you know. We'll have a list of those committees and committee members.
Why don't we do this, guys? If you are interested in being on a committee or learning more, on your way out, why don't you just star your name, and I'll compile all those emails, and that'll be sort of a separate special action committee list. And then, I'll just pass that on to Vicki or Pen or whoever it is who's sort of spearheading it.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I think is it the 16th we're planning on our next main meeting, our bigger
I
meeting?
can't recall.
So we'll get that information to you, so you'll know exactly where it is and what time. Yes.
Is there a plan? I was actually at the last meeting, and so I'm very excited about this and want to do what I can. But what I'm not aware of, is there a plan or a focus group that would try and bring our city council on board with this kind of thing? Because it seems to me that instead of assuming that they're not going to be interested, we should create a strategy to start bombarding our council people with excitement about this possibility and
Well,
get them
we could either do that or
realizing.
talk about fracking. We could make this a point of injection. We could make it, not really do it, but make it say, this is where we're going to frack the city of Colorado Springs. And we're going to build this thing around it that looks like a market. Well, sorry.
Okay, no, I'm with you. I'm telling you that. But the good news is they actually did say, okay, we're going to put this, we're going to listen. And I think what I give the counselors, kind of, they're trying to figure out what's really good for Colorado Springs and so forth. So they're still thinking in this old model that this is important, fracking, because for the economy. Yeah. But how much better would it be for us to be thinking about funding
solar community gardens. So that kind of positive input to the city council, along with this, would be just, I think, perfect timing. And I've been, going to those meetings and talking to the councilors, and they're hungry. They really are hungry. Please give us a better idea, because right now, we don't know what else to do.
So a communication committee, or what would you call it?
Civic engagement or
Yeah,
something like
civic
that.
engagement.
We have a further opportunity. There are city elections coming up in April, so they have lots of meetings, so be vocal
Well,
about
make
it.
it a platform issue, something they can run on.
Sure, sure.
And historically, this town was founded on, Denver was the cattle town. This town was based on artists and intellectual thinkers and healers, and that's what brought people here. And maybe it's time we return back to that whole mindset
Right.
and take advantage of the value that we do have that we don't see.
Mike, have there been external partners identified like Bon Appetit that are buying locally to serve their local clients?
I see Bon Appetit being a major participant just from a demand side.
Yeah.
They'd be one of those institutional buyers, but I don't know that Bon Appetit would be any way involved in management or ownership or anything like that. But yeah, they would. Colorado College. Julian isn't here tonight, but he's involved, and he's on that sustainability outreach group there in the college. He's part of our task force, but Colorado College would just really love to see this happen. How about the streetcar folks? I mean, we need a streetcar line.
Yes.
We need to get that going again.
Going between downtown here and Manitou,
Yeah, or
How about the
absolutely.
pedal powered, the levitator?
Yeah. I mean, you could have so much fun. Life is supposed to be fun. What's all this talk about austerity?
Yeah.
Those guys don't have a brain. I mean, God has given us an earth that produces amazing amounts of wealth. The problem is the wealth is in just a few greedy guys' hands. And they have monopolies on all this stuff, from sunglasses to beef to chicken. I mean, it's all about monopoly power. Let's break that and create another model. It's fun. There's no reason we should have to be living under a bridge. I mean, there's enough wealth created. And the thing is, this idea that we are now a net food importer. The United States is a net food importer. Believe it. And we were going to, with this green revolution, we were going to feed the world, right?
Right.
So let's just, it's a good place to start. To grow our own food and to be able to consume it within the community that we live in and have it all connected, and then it goes from there. But you know what you really get for this public market and all those people that are participants, perhaps owners, maybe it's cooperative. Maybe it's a cooperative model. And you've got 100,000 members. What do you got? Don't you have a pretty powerful political machine? Because really all those problems come down to politics. We can fix stuff if we get that kind of group that thinks alike.
Well, and all the businesses that want to become part of the co-op or consortium, where they also can give you discounts and join the whole market thing, and walk to their market.
And you got this whole group of people that likes Bristol beer.
Absolutely.
And they won't go to a restaurant that doesn't have it on the menu.
Right.
It ain't happening. You end up with a bunch of really radical people. That's what we would hope to get out of it. So, yes.
In fact, when you talk about restaurants right now, we're pretty focused on eating good quality food. But restaurants is one of the mystery items in there, that the weak link, shall you say, where you can't really tell what you're getting.
Right.
And we'll go and we'll ask, are you doing this, are you doing this? Restaurants in this kind of a setting, where the food that's coming in there already is right next door to your restaurant, and it's good quality food, and you're going to take that. Now, are people going to, when they go out to eat, that are interested in this same kind of quality of food, are they going to go here, or are they going to go downtown on Tejon, or are they going to go on the northeast side? Now, are they going to go to the big national chains. They're gonna go here.
Exactly, and I think Walmart shoppers are gonna be Walmart shoppers, most of them.
Well, absolutely.
But, and yeah, they're gonna go to Applebee's and they're gonna feel really bad after the meal. But that's, they need a reason for people to feel sorry for them, and I don't feel good, you should feel sorry for me. Let's go to Applebee's and have lunch tomorrow. And you got those folks, but I tell you, there's a whole bunch of, particularly young people.
Yes.
That's it.
When you decide to have more children, do you have any children?
We've got 3 right now, and she says we're not done, so.
when you and your wife, I mean, I bet you don't feed MSG to your kids.
Oh, good heavens, no.
I mean, when you become a parent, a young parent, I love it when people come into Ranch Foods Direct and they're married, but not pregnant. And they come in and we say, we want to get pregnant. Well, let's eat good. Like, okay, you gotta eat good. We can fix this. And I gotta tell you, a year later, they bring in this little beautiful thing wrapped in a blanket. And they are so proud of that. Do you think they're gonna take that kid to Applebee's or McDonald's? Ain't never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. In fact, Andy Finn was in today, and he's got 2 kids that when they drive down the street by McDonald's, they boo. They boo. They hate McDonald's.
I bet you Andy boos too.
Yeah, but yeah, it creates this whole new awareness and following that's contagious as heck. I mean, you don't want to go eat with me. I mean, I ask those hard questions, and I'll get up and leave. And I got a nephew that does the same thing. He gets up and leaves if the answer is wrong. But I got to tell you, nothing good ever comes off a Cisco truck.
No.
It can't happen.
Is there a list of restaurants that you supply that you sell?
I am not here to promote Ranch Foods Direct.
Well,
But if you look on our website, we have a restaurant list. It's right on there.
But
Yeah.
Mike, there is a slow foods group here locally.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think, that's again,
They've
another
gotta be
place, the
involved.
slow money group,
Totally.
slow food
Absolutely.
group, incorporating many
Yeah.
of these green and sustainable businesses and groups together.
The Arkansas Valley Growers Association magazine also lists all of the local restaurants that they supply.
Yeah.
I've seen some models in other cities, I think it was Chicago, where they started a community garden that was largely, I think 80% funded by the local restaurants. And so I'm curious, though there might be restaurants in-house, if there were restaurants that would be interested that are already maybe purchasing Ranch Foods Direct or Callicrate beef that would be interested in investing in a rooftop garden for the public market that would grow a large portion of the produce. That would also be an educational center, demonstration garden. I know we talked about that at the task force meeting, doing kind of the gardening education and all that's within the market, but then having a large portion of that being some of it being sold there, but then you have the large investment from local restaurants.
Does it root down in Denver, that and a lot of it?
I think so, yeah, in Chicago.
We supply. That's one. Yeah.
One of the things, Mike, you talk about going out with the kids to eat, the same thing, the kids wonder why dad doesn't take them to McDonald's, But my wife laughs because we go to Driftos, okay? Good fast food, so they've got your meat there. My wife laughs because every time, no matter what, I pull up and the first thing they hear over the intercom is, do you still have Callicrate beef? They say, yeah, we do. They say, well, in that case, I'll have 4 of these and 3 of these. So even the poor 17-year-old kid on the other side knows they're here because of the beef.
Yeah.
Where's the beef? Here it is. And my wife still laughs at that. But there's that whole awareness that has to be a part of it. Not just that, okay, we've got a list and we're going to pay the check, but there's communication involved there too.
Right. And Drifters just built a second location.
Yeah. Which is more
because I know how much meat is moving, right? Because we sell they're even. Both locations are now at 800 pounds a week. It's amazing. And honestly, in the meat business, if you can't sell ground beef, you're done. You're out of business because the biggest part of the animal is ground beef. But the difference between our beef and McDonald's, in 1998, Colorado State University did a DNA study on a quarter-pound McDonald's hamburger patty. There were 1,058 animals represented in a quarter-pound burger. And that doesn't happen, probably, That doesn't happen. I mean, it's just crazy what's, and you all have to read, if you want to be inspired, never to eat this stuff, pink slime and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Read the Kansas City Star article. Go to kansascity.com/beef. It's on our blog too, on the MikeCallicrate.com blog. But this article was in 3 segments. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, they talk about stuff nobody has thought about. It just, you cannot do business with Tyson, Cargill, and JBS. You cannot do it after you read this thing. It's just amazing. It took a year. This article took a year to develop. And we got to help with it. So.
Can we get that to the Gazette?
Yeah, reprint. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Mother Jones did a follow-up. You might have seen it. Mother Jones did a follow-up, I think it was on Tuesday, that came out after the Sunday article on blade tenderization. And the headline was, "You thought pink slime was bad."
Yeah.
Thanks to Food Inc. for that, pink slime knowledge. Well, thanks. And we'll let you know when the next task force meeting is, and hope you come.
Yeah, thank you. Please stick around. Feel free to go upstairs for dinner. And again, just one more, reminder, just to put a star by your name or something if you're interested in joining one of the task force. Thanks, guys.
It's a great spot.